The people, events, and issues shaping our community. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
Just recently, in a landmark case, a Broward condominium association won a battle to force Wells Fargo to release its mortgage from a property. They did so by using a new legal strategy. Here to explain what this new strategy is and how it works is attorney Ben Solomon, and thanks very much for joining us. It's got an ominous name, doesn't it?
Well, we named it the Mortgage Terminator to allow the idea that, in fact, what condo associations are now able to do is force the bank to either move forward with their foreclosure and take title to the financially distressed asset, or else release their mortgage and walk away.
Okay, this means that the condo association now has properties.
That's right.
As a
many condo associations throughout the state of Florida are essentially forced into taking ownership of the property by foreclosing owners who have failed to pay their maintenance assessments for long durations.
What certain circumstances have to occur for a condo association to be eligible to take this mortgage on?
Well, there are statutory requirements. As soon as the owner stops paying, they were entitled to 2 notices, both for HOAs and condo associations. Then a lien is filed against the property. After that, the association has the legal right to foreclose the unit, and many of them are forced to do that because banks are stalling their own foreclosures.
Is this good for the banks or bad? Because they lose that, don't they?
Well, the banks have been sitting on the sidelines for a long time, and sometimes the banks argue, well, they're working it out with their borrowers, and that's true, and I encourage that. But we're talking about extreme cases here, where the borrower no longer has title to the property. Mm-hmm. And so when the association takes title to it, the first thought would be maybe they can rent the unit out and receive rental income. But a lot of these units aren't rent ready. They're damaged or otherwise not able to be rented. And so the associations cannot rent them, and they also can't sell the properties because the mortgage still affects the property.
So the reason these aren't sellable is because they're in bad shape.
They're in bad shape, and the mortgage is the original amount of the mortgage that still affects the property. So if the property was originally worth $250,000, let's say, today it might only be worth $80,000, but there's a mortgage on it for $250,000, so the association cannot sell it.
Any liability assumed by the association for taking ownership?
Absolutely. They become the owner at that point, and so if there's a problem with the unit, they face the same responsibilities that any owner would.
In your experience, what have you been seeing? The association going in and making a change to the individual apartment, trying to renovate it or repair it?
Well, these associations are struggling so badly financially that they can't really make an investment. So if the unit is rent ready, then again, they should consider potentially renting the unit. But if there's any improvements needed, these are not-for-profit associations that are already struggling to pay their bills, and of course they don't have the money to invest. So at that point, they need to look at selling the unit to recover the amounts that are past due. And what happens is the lender is not moving forward with its own foreclosure in many, many cases here. And so this particular legal strategy sues the bank to give them a legal ultimatum as to whether they're going to now initiate foreclosure and take title to the unit or release the mortgage. And in our first cases, we have found that the banks are actually releasing the mortgage.
This is major for the associations or for people who live in condos.
It is a new legal weapon that associations have to fight these issues of past due assessments and collecting those amounts. At this point, the banks are going to have to either take title as the new owner through their own foreclosure, and then they become liable for the past due assessments, the insurance, the taxes. And so on properties in the middle of the market, these banks, of course, don't want to take those responsibilities. Mm-hmm. And so this strategy puts that ultimatum to them, where they have a choice that they can either take title through their foreclosure or they can release the mortgage. And in both Dade and Broward County, we already have seen that banks are willing to, in fact, release the mortgage and walk away, which leaves the unit free and clear to the association.
So they lose the
itself.
money, but again, so much in arrears, and there's so much need to be spent as far as repairs are concerned.
That's right.
They look at it as a win.
That's right. And when the association takes title to it now, they can finally sell the unit because without the mortgage affecting it, they can finally sell it for a reasonable value in today's market.
Or as is, saying
That's
you
right.
come in, and I know there's a little bit of problem here, but hey, you can take it for so much money, and they become part of the association.
That's right. And statistically speaking, we are now at almost 10% foreclosure rate in Miami-Dade County.
Unbelievable. Just as this new strategy is shaping real estate, see how Hispanics have affected South Florida's history. Head to Comcast On Demand, select Hispanic Heritage under Get Local. I'm Spiro Canton. Thanks for watching.